Hello everyone, I'm gonna show you how you reduce angles by using a reduction formula, but I'm specifically gonna look at negative angles. So the first thing, when you have your Cartesian plane, with your negative angle, you go clockwise. With positive angles, you go anti-clockwise. So here will be your 0 degrees. And then because you are going negative, here will be negative 90 degrees, and then negative 180 degrees, and negative 270 degrees, and then negative 360 degrees. So this is when we are doing negative angles, we are going anti-clockwise. But what we notice is that when you go clockwise, the 360 and the negative 360 are at the same place, and the 180 and the negative 180 are at the same place. Also, what is important is to remember that at this first quadrant, all ratios are positive. All students take coffee. It depends how did they make you memorize at school. So this is all. Sine is positive in the second quadrant, tan is positive in the third quadrant, only cos is positive in the fourth quadrant. When you're going anti-clockwise, this quadrant will be negative x, meaning that any angle that is smaller than 90, so it's negative x, and also it's negative 360 minus x. When you get a negative 360 minus x, that will be in the fourth quadrant. In the third quadrant, it will be negative 180 plus x. But what you notice, you remember that when you're doing positive angles, it was 180 plus x. With negative angles, is negative 180 plus x. So it's basically the same. Then with this quadrant, you have negative 180 minus x. And then the first quadrant is negative 360 plus x. So when you have negative 360 plus x, you're in the first quadrant. Let's look at examples and use this table to get our answers. And if you are given to reduce this ratio, sine x minus 180, always rewrite it and start with a special angle. So it will be sine negative 180, my x is plus x. Start by doing that, rewriting it, starting with the special angle, and then have the other angle here. Then it will help you to see which quadrant is this. Negative 180 plus. 180 plus is in the third quadrant. How is sine in the third quadrant? You see in the third quadrant, only tan is positive. So sine is negative. So you're going to say negative, then you write sine, then write the angle. The angle is x. So negative 180 plus x is negative sine x. Let's look at another example. Right, example 2, cos negative x negative 360. We're going to start by rewriting it. You don't get marks for this, but you have higher chances of getting it correct if you write it like this. So it's negative 360, negative x. Which quadrant is negative 360, negative x? Negative 360, negative x is in the fourth quadrant. Only cos is positive in the fourth quadrant. So it's going to be cos, then my angle is x. So my answer is cos x. Let's look at another example. With the next example, what you need to know is that when we have sine negative whatever angle, that would be in the fourth quadrant. So it's negative sine angle. If you have cos negative whatever angle, that will be in the fourth quadrant. Cos is positive, so it's going to be positive cos x. And then when we have tan negative whatever angle, then it's in the fourth quadrant. Tan is negative in the fourth quadrant, only cos is positive. So it's going to be negative tan x. So the example that we're going to do now, it's with numerical value, meaning that it's a number. It's an angle that is a number. So you need to remember this first before you can do that problem. Let's look at that example now. Our example is sine negative 230. So you start by making it positive by looking at whatever. When we have a negative angle, but it's sine, it's going to be negative sine that angle. So here is going to be negative sine, and the angle is 230. So our next step, we're going to reduce the 230. So it's going to be negative sine 180, our special angle, plus, then you go 230 minus 180. Use your calculator and then you'll find that it's 50. Very important here, whatever you have in the bracket, when you add it up, it must give you that angle. It means you must not have that angle on this bracket. When you add this up, it must give you 280. Find a way to find whatever number. So the easy way is the special angle. Our special angle is 180 because it's closer to 180 than 360. If you use 360, you're still gonna get not an acute angle. You have to reduce that again. So you're gonna say 230 minus 180, then you'll get that angle that is 50. Then test it. When it's 180 plus 50, it must give you the 230. So then you know that we are correct. Right, now it's negative, and then this negative is this one. 180 plus, which quadrant? 180 plus, it is the third quadrant. How is sine in the third quadrant? Sine is negative. So you're going to have negative sine, and our angle is 50. So what would you have here? You'll have a negative and a negative. So it means your final answer, your sine will be positive. So your final answer is sine 50. That negative multiplied by negative, it ended up being positive. So you really have to do all these steps correctly. Please practice. And we do have a video where we do reduction formula at the beginning of reduction formula, not only negative angles, starting with positive angles and numerical value. Thank you for watching.